woke up with the fire in my soul, a vision burning bright, a goal to control. The road ahead ain't always clear, but I'm stepping forward, no room for fear. Each stair I climb, a lesson learned. From every fall, a lesson earned. The mind is a weapon, sharp and true. I'm forging ahead, there's nothing I can't do. Think and grow rich, that's the plan. With every step, I take a stand. Climbing the staircase of my dreams, fueled by the power of my schemes. Mind-focused heart on the rise. Achievement is the price I prize. Step by step I'm reaching high, tuning my mindset to touch the sky. The journey's tough, but I won't quit. I've got the drive, I've got the grit. Each level up, a new horizon, a world of possibilities in motion. I'm sharpening my thoughts, aligning my will, turning obstacles into hills I can climb still. The power of belief, it's on my side. With every breath I'm fortified. I'm not just dreaming, I'm in the fight, turning the night into the light. Think and grow rich, that's the plan. With every step I take a stand. Climbing the staircase of my dreams, fueled by the power of my schemes. Mind-focused heart on the rise. Achievement is the price I prize. Step by step I'm reaching high, tuning my mindset to touch the sky.
Well, good morning, everyone. Oh, I'm so excited to be here. It's the 3rd of April, and it's Good Friday, and there's a lot of people who have the day off. I'm so happy to see you all. So let's begin with this journey back about 100 years to 1951 for this song by Tommy Edwards. See if you remember hearing it with your parents or your grandparents or even yourself. Many a tear has to fall, but it's all in the game, all in the wonderful game that we know as love. You had words with him, and your future's looking oh so dim. But these things your heart can rise above. Once in a while he won't call, but it's all in the game. Soon he'll be there at your side with a sweet bouquet, and he'll kiss your lips and caress your waiting fingertips, and your hearts will fly away. Soon he'll be there at your side with a sweet bouquet. Then he'll kiss your lips and caress your waiting fingertips, and your hearts will fly away. Wow, that is an oldie. I was 5 when that came out. So I do remember my grandparents didn't have a hi-fi, but my father did. He had a fancy old high fidelity and all those 78s and 33 1/3. Started with collections of 78 RPM records. So good morning, everyone from North Carolina. Where are you calling in from? I see we have some wonderful friends here. And let me just tell you, let me fix this a little bit here. There we go. Today's lesson in Think and Grow Rich, Leadership Principles and Laws, is the final piece to the puzzle. The thing that you have been looking forward to, the scariest part. And so I would love for you to think, why did Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, the #2 bestseller of all time, only to the New Testament, why didn't he tell us about the fears up front? Why did he make us wait till the end? If you know the answer to that question, or you have a good idea about why this man moved the fears to the epilogue rather than just hitting you with it when you first come on, so you know what this is all about, why do you think he did that? There's a very good reason for it. So welcome, everyone. I am so happy to see you. Yeah. Hi, Churrito. Yeah. It's all in the game, right? You weren't born yet, but you hear that. That's one of those songs, right? And it was a simpler time back then, a much simpler time. Good morning, Mary Kay, book coach. So glad you're here. This is a study lesson, so I won't spend as much time acknowledging, because this is the most exciting part. This is where you actually get to see what you're made of, not with judgment. But you know, one of the things that has concerned me greatly is that the study of the mind began, let's just say, around 1900 with Thomas Troward, who was the head of mental science. And one of his students was Genevieve Behrend. And in 1937, or maybe it was 27, she wrote the book, Your Invisible Power, and began to extrapolate on visualization. This is long before Jung and all the therapists came along, Freud, with their methodologies, and yet conventional teaching for therapists, people in PhD programs, all of them, there's nothing in there about the mind. So the practical application of making change has got to be difficult for a person, because if you don't know the source of what hurt you and that you want to heal, we've all been through that, then how would you know what to do? So to hear that this happens in your brain and this happens in your brain and this happens with this nerve, that's all great for reference and understanding, but there's nothing that tells you what can a human being with intellect and conscious awareness do to make the changes. And so you probably know by now that for over 5,000 years of recorded history, there's only been one thing that the greatest minds have written about, that is the source of humanity and who you are, your identity, your ego, your fears, your high side, your faith. What do you think? As a man thinketh, so he will become. So let's just say hello to everybody here really quickly. Thank you for being here. Hey, I see William Rochelle is here. Hey, Bill, so good to see you. I think you're going to love this today. Everyone, Coach Carrie, open your mind and get your coffee and maybe a pencil and pad, but you can always go back and listen to this, right? Leanna's here. Hi, Leanna. Registered pharmacist. She's up in Duluth, Minnesota. And there is Stephen Eng. Hey, Stephen, thank you so much for being here. Let me turn on this banner. I'm getting better at this stuff each time, just a little bit each time. There we go. Okay. Yes, hi, Stephen. Stephen Eng is here from New York. And Stephen works in the library systems, and he knows a lot about publishing, modern publishing. We've got a lot of wonderful folks in here. Charito is here. 𝗧𝗛𝗛𝗏 is here. Thank you so much for being here, Lay. Lay usually comes in from YouTube. Today she's on LinkedIn. I have put in the comments under the event, and if you want to get to the event without losing the live stream, there's 3 little dots at the bottom in LinkedIn. If you click on that, it'll show you how to go to the event details. And then it makes this live stream temporarily smaller, but still video and audio is running. And there you will find in the comments the YouTube link, just in case we get blown off of LinkedIn. Okay. Hi, Chelsea. So glad you're here. And there's Nicole Angai Galindo. And as you can see from the banner, that Nicole is this weekly live stream sponsor. And this quarter, you're going to get to hear from her about some of the applications of these principles that we've all been studying into her own life and her new business. So I see Jackie Hallberg is here. You hadn't heard that one. Did you like it, Jackie? Jackie has a 9 p.m. Eastern time live called Just Jacks and Guests. And there's Coach Carrie Willis. She has 2 shows, Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern, Sunday evening at 6 p.m. And let's see, have I missed anybody else? No. All right, let's see. There we go. Well, it's a small group. One of the things you can do is share to your friends. And I'm sure people will be coming in because this one's a doozy. Okay, and if I don't see your name or it doesn't come up, it's not me. Sometimes it's me if there's too many people. So are you ready? Is everybody ready? Okay, let's get going here because there's a lot to do. So we'll start here. This is our 14th week. We went over 12. Next week, the 15th week, is going to be the transition, the recap of all 14 weeks, and then the first week of the next quarter where we focus on what's our Q2 goal, right? So 90 days is a great amount of time to keep you motivated to reach a goal. Now, if you have a bigger goal than 90 days, no problem, break it into 2. 12 weeks is about the best that we can do for focusing on one goal without having it take over our life. Oh, I see Omar is here. Hello, Omar. Okay, here we go. Yes, thank you. I watch on YouTube because of the comments. Okay, got it. Yeah, there are some issues. Everybody knows what they are. And we're just holding the intention that LinkedIn does whatever they need to do to quit bumping people off. It was the same kind of experience with the audio rooms. And what did they do? They didn't get more load balancers to manage the streams. They stopped the audio room. So let's just hope they don't do that. Omar is here and he has a show at 12 noon on Fridays live. Do we really know them? There's Dr. Annie. So good to see you. Okay, here we go. Let's begin. And you'll notice here that I've got the backdrop set 100 years ago because Think and Grow Rich was written 100 years ago. And many, many, many businesses follow this rule exactly. And I saw someone come in early and I missed their name, but they said it changed their life. It changed my life because for 18 years, I've studied this every single week, and I've taught it every week, some 20,000 hours. And now at 105, you can see what thinking can do to how you look. Hey, there's Erin Gibson. Erin is the master creator and visioneer who created the intro and outro, not only for this show, but Mind Over Matter Mondays. Boy, am I fortunate. I tell you what, I just love that. Thank you, Erin, for always remembering YouTube. All right, I think we're good to go here. So let me bring this back on stage and let's begin. Okay, so here is our wonderful, let me just turn this off. Well, you can see this. This is Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing House, our sponsor. And we've got some good news. So their latest anthology, which is book 2 of We Are More Than Our Diagnoses, has got openings. And Nicole, in her generosity, has opened up a couple of spots and reduced the fee for being a contributor in this book significantly for you. So if you wanted to get in on it, you thought you would and then you didn't, or maybe the price point, whatever it was, reach out to her on LinkedIn, because she will walk you through what you need to know to get your story out there. And look, once you are a best-selling author, which most every one of her authors, if not all of them, are, they can't ever take that away from you. It's a great calling card. Your book cost you about $5. Give that to someone instead of your business card. Lisa Fevick is here. I'm so grateful to see you. And let's see what else. I just don't want to miss anybody. Bobby Lee is here. Hey, Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee Clark has a 12 noon Eastern Mindset and Money Matters show with a partner, a host. So let's move right on. I'm talking more than I usually do in this show, because I want you to know that I see you and I know you're here. Okay. Lisa Fevick has every other Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Menomorphosis Dialogues. So if you're in any part of the 3-decade potentially of menopause, or you're sleeping with someone or living with someone who's going through it, you really want to watch this show, because as a registered dietitian, Lisa makes sure that she brings in the foods that diminish some of the side effects that occur. All right, so this is our agenda today. We're going to start with the 7 mantras. We'll do a quick Think and Grow Rich review to catch you up and remind you everything we've learned. And then we're going to prepare for this week, which is the epilogue, the end of the book. And remember, you're going to put in the comments why you think Napoleon Hill put the 6 ghosts of fear at the end instead of at the beginning. Would you have rather have had it at the beginning so you know what this is all about, or at the end? And why did he do that? Was it either or? So I'm interested in what you think is the reason he did that. And was there a reason at all? And then I'll do those lessons. And then next week we'll transition into the first new week of Q2's Think and Grow Rich. And I might change the name a little bit. We never know, but probably keep it the same. We'll do a meditation, a 1.5 to 2 minute meditation to lock in what it is you've learned. Now, look, this is an intention we're setting. So by me saying we're going to do a meditation that will lock in what you've learned today, you can believe that and listen for it, right? Keep it top of mind. Okay, then we'll do the meditation and we'll look at upcoming events. All right, are you ready, everybody? We're going to read this out loud or to yourself. Why are we doing this? Slowly, week after week, these elements are being immersed into your identity, into your character. We know with autosuggestion and repetition of thought actually embeds into the subconscious mind. And that's what we have faith in. That's where we believe where our beliefs are limiting and not limiting, right? And they match your results, the way you live, the car you drive, the family you have, the relationships you're in. All of it is based on what you believe you're deserving of or capable of. But look, we start off with 6 strikes against us, and you know the story, right? There is a way out of it. So we're going to read these as though you wrote them yourself. So I'm going to make myself smaller so I can read these too. I have a hard time reading these. Okay, so everybody do this. If someone's around, you can do it with yourself. These are things that you're creating and feeling really good about. I am my word. I treat every, and let me just say, these are aspirations. You'll never actually reach them 100%, but you will lean toward being this way almost all the time. I am my word. I treat every agreement, including those with myself, as I would an appointment with my most trusted and valuable client or colleague. I am proactive. I am the one to make sure my scheduled calls are held on time, even if another said that they would initiate the call. I am disciplined. I complete all tasks, no matter how small. If I miss one, I complete it within 24 hours. I am focused. I do not allow an interrupt in my plans based on my values unless there is an emergency only I can handle. Then I reset the original plan. I am motivated, like today. I show up hungry, eager, and present, even if I don't want to that day or I don't feel like it. I am trusted. I maintain strict confidence with the private information I learn in dialogue with business connections, family, and friends. And I am the mirror of your greatness. I understand that the level of greatness I see in others is in exact proportion to my own. Searching for another's greatness expands my own. Okay. If anything comes up for you, drop it in the comments. I will look for questions. Josette is here. Hello, Josette. So good to see you. All right. So, you guys let me know if I miss anybody because I'm not planning on that. All right. Good. Everything looks good so far. And let me tell you how much I appreciate you being here. It tells me that you like this, right? Children are the happiest when they're learning. Once you listen to this and you start to recognize things, you begin to grow into conscious awareness of your infinite potential. You never already know it. So if you hear someone say, I already know that, I've already read Think and Grow Rich, there's so much to learn. All right, we're going to quickly go over this. I can bring myself, I think, to here. So this is what the 12-week, 13, 14, 15, however I feel about it. This is the roadmap to being a millionaire if you want to. Whatever you want to do, we begin with the definite purpose. And notice there are 2 weeks there because that is the introduction. That's not even the 13 principles of success that make up this book. And I myself have read it some 90 times. It's starting to fall apart, as you can see at the seams. And every time I read it, I'm at a higher level of awareness. So I always find something new that I missed. And then I'm reminded of what I know. Because look, we get 6,000 complete thoughts every day. And look, very few get through into our conscious mind, but many by default. So the first 2 weeks is about definite purpose, the introduction, picking one goal, how important it is, that it's important to others in service, that you don't know how to do it, that maybe you failed at it before. So you've got to decide what is burning up for you to complete. And it can be a raise, it could be a job, it could be a new relationship. It doesn't matter, whatever it is, if it drives your heart and if you're compelled and maybe a little obsessed about it. Because when I wrote 𝗧𝗛𝗓, oh my God, After I wrote it, I became super obsessed, and I'm just now coming down. Let's see, that was 24. Right, it's almost 2 years. I'm now coming down from that high. And now I'm using and channeling that vibration elsewhere. Okay. So then once you've got your definite purpose, now you have to fall in love with it. You do that by visualizing it, thinking about it as though you already have it every other day for a few minutes in spaced repetitive intervals over time. And then this then will build faith. Takes about 3 months with one goal. If you follow Think and Grow Rich and you stick with me, you will build faith. And it's the only known antidote to fear. Both of them cannot exist simultaneously. All right. Then we do all this through autosuggestion, self-suggestion. Repetition is the first law of learning. So you do it every other day, every third day, but you got to be consistent. This is why I do this class every week. I mean, this is the 3rd or 4th year. I don't even know how to go back to count when I started on LinkedIn. It was after COVID. And then we learned about imagination, which is the workshop of the mind. We have 2 kinds. One is creative imagination, when we get that wild idea. The other is synthetic. Synthetic imagination is all your lessons, all those failures and solutions that you finally came up with. Synthetic imagination immediately couples with the creative idea that you came out of the blue and begins to build a puzzle of some steps to take on how to achieve that goal. Then if you have a definite purpose, decision becomes a breeze. The opposite of decision is procrastination, the biggest pain in everybody's side for human beings. Yet it's so easily resolved, because if you have one definite purpose instead of 2, 3, or 4, and you're focusing on that whenever you think about it, not all day, every day, anything that comes up to interrupt your moving toward that goal, like a new opportunity, if it doesn't take you directly to the goal, don't do it now. Now it's going to look juicy. It's the bright, shiny object syndrome. It's the squirrel. We must teach our mind to focus. And one of the hard things that when you begin to say no, not forever, but now, that's a boundary that is very difficult for some people. In the neuro community, you know, my experience is that they're filled with geniuses, with creative ideas. And so I'm imagining that staying focused is one of the biggest challenges. And sometimes I wonder if we all aren't just a little bit neurodiverse sometimes, not to take away from the impact of living life this way with deep respect. Then we got to persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. So if you look at all of this, the 3 things you absolutely have to have, there are 2 principles and then the purpose. Now, the more of the 13 principles you use, the easier it is, the faster it works. But that doesn't mean you have to have them all. You've got to have a definite purpose. You have to fall in love with it, desire, and then you have to be persistent in your inspiration and motivation to take it through the 3 months or whatever amount of time you pick. Last week we did the subconscious mind, and we've touched on it the whole. Oh, no, we didn't. 2 weeks ago we did the 6th sense, which is intuition, which is part of your conscious mind, not part of your subconscious. It's not gut. Your gut is your subconscious reaction to negativity. A lot of people make this mistake. It took me years to discover this, that intuition is the voice of the universe. It's the whisper of God. It's the higher side. We are co-creators, people. We do not do this alone. The universe is with us. And then last week we did the subconscious mind, and today we're doing outwitting our 6 basic fears. And oh my God, I'm having so much fun with this. Okay, quick review though on this. Now you've seen this before. So what you want to take a quick look at is that consider that we have two parts to our mind. We've got the conscious mind. We're aware right now we're using that. We have the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is us thinking, talking, sensing things, and it includes, with my work, developing these mental muscles through practice: perception, intuition, imagination, memory, reason, and will. And these should look familiar to you, certainly. Intuition is the sixth sense. Imagination is one of the principles of success. This program is based on my hybrid program, which is built on Think and Grow Rich and 25 years of all sorts of different studies in personal development, the 8 essentials of performance and achievement. So now you're getting leadership and the universal laws. The more you understand, and you don't have to get it all at once, you don't worry as much, because we think that we have to know and do everything. But I'm here to tell you the universe has already got you covered. You just didn't know. People who study the Bible, Old Testament or New, or any theological or philosophy like that, they know what the universal laws are, because it's nothing new. But bringing it all together just makes things more robust. And as we move into a 5-dimension world, this is what has taught me to transcend, to be able to observe what's going on in the world, but also to see the good, because we have to have good things happening at the same time. So rather than focusing on the stuff that's going on, which we see a lot of, if you look, you will see some remarkable things happening also. What are you focusing on? So whatever comes in through your 5 senses, see the little antenna? Those are your 5 senses. 6,000, up to 6,000 complete thoughts every day. Oh my God, I got to hurry up here. I want to get to the good stuff. Anyway, but it's important that you know this. Through repetition, particularly without your knowing, autosuggestion is occurring all the time. The subconscious is always open, and it's like a mouth. And whatever you're thinking about the most, the way you feel about it and how frequently you think about it will eventually embed into your subconscious, and it lives like the truth there. You have perfect faith in what's in there. It may not be true now, but at one time it was. It happened to you. And we have this horrible habit of continuing, when we're faced with these things we've experienced, of reminding ourselves how crappy it was. But when we do that, we resurrect the visual image and the cellular vibration. Mind is a cellular activity. Brain is an organ. So what you're thinking affects your body, your physiology, and it also instructs the brain to create a chemical cocktail. Thank you, Catherine Chadwick, for putting that into words for me, to create new neuroplastic pathways. Right now, we've got ruts of bad pathways, which means that whenever any idea comes up, immediately the mind says nope and creates the brain to deepen the negative reaction to your idea. Well, our work is to create a new smooth highway right next to it of things that we have disproven because we've done these things, new things that we never thought we could do. Eventually, those also embed into the subconscious, but with 6 fears, we got work to do, right? Hey, Felipe, so good to see you. Thank you for that. Let me see what Felipe says. I'm so happy you're here. You always help us learn, think, and understand ourselves. Oh, I can't wait for you to see the rest of this, all of you. Let's see if I can do this. I certainly can do this. I bet I can make a little adjustment here so we can see. Oh, wide and big. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. Thank you, Felipe. So glad to see you here. Let me make sure I didn't leave anybody out. No, I got my faves. You guys are just awesome. Catherine's here. You heard me with your chemical cocktail. See, Catherine, she'll be our guest at Mind Over Matter next Monday. But Catherine is an RN, and she's done a lot of work in personal development and in neuro. And so she gave me the words that you would give a fourth grader on what's actually happening. And she used the word chemical cocktail. It's easier to understand for me. And that's usually all you really need, is enough to understand it at a basic level. All right. So where we are now, through the repetition, whether you're listening to the TV or even not paying attention, it's all negative. Eventually it impresses into the subconscious mind. This is the non-thinking mind. You can't reject anything here because you can't see it. It is the reactive mind. It's when you're triggered and you react right away. This is the strongest mind. This is the mind that manifests. It matches your results. You would think that the higher side, the things we want, would manifest, but it's not true, because you have perfect faith in everything that's going on in the subconscious mind, because you experienced it. Now, there is faith in God that gets in there. However, it's not enough with one faith in God to outweigh all of those. But you can get very, very good at it. So this is where your beliefs are, and your habits, your fears, your identity. And now we can add the shadow side. That's what Carl Jung talks about. So the shadow side is a view of the fears. So be looking for things that resonate and sound similar. That is what the Monday show is about, is that we're all talking about the same thing, but we're all growing in conscious awareness of our infinite potential. All of us, the teachers, so they're evolving. You, the attendee, you're evolving. So once it's there, then we go to work. Okay, any questions? I'm looking. Hey, Sharon Rose, I'm so glad you're here. You like the phrase chemical cocktail? Yes, well, it's yours. Yes, I'm using it. Thank you for your generosity. I always cite the people who, like the shadow side, I just learned from Carlise Austin. I knew about it, and I know about Jung and Freud and psychology, but I never had stumbled into how it relates to what we know and what we're learning. And it does. All of it does. It's just a big puzzle. There is no right way or wrong way. You want to pick the thing that resonates for you. All right, you ready? Here we go. Okay. So let me see if I can make this just a little bit different. I just love this. Yeah, I can do that. Let me do that. I'll bring this over here like this to make it a little bigger. Okay, good. All right. Here are the lessons for today. So these are the vital points. And because I've read this almost 90 times and been teaching it for 20 years, I can tell you that what I'm sharing with you is the creme de la creme. It's the cherry on top. I mean, look, it was like a big sensory overload. When I started this in 2008, I had no idea what I was doing. I just kept taking baby steps and not stopping, right? So let's take a look at this. Our mind, in order to understand these 6 ghosts of fear, and I hope everybody can see this here, you have to prepare your mind. And if you've been coming here every week, you're prepared. Has anybody answered the question about why Napoleon Hill, and I'm looking, put the 6 ghosts of fear at the end instead of, let's see, at the beginning? Okay, I'm not seeing that, but if you have an idea, I'm just looking quickly. Okay, no problem. I'll tell you, but not yet. So your minds are ready. If you've been doing this with me, you are ready. And I will tell you, that's why it's at the end. You would shut the book if the first thing you read were the fears. They're scary. But you now understand that there is always the opposite point of view, and you have both. And this practice is to always choose the positive side of everything. But it's not easy because we're filled with fears that we've been resurrecting for decades. and they're based on real fearful experiences. So as I said, so the first thing that we have to do before we even get into the 6 fears is clear out 3 major enemies that we all have. And they are indecision, doubt, and fear. Indecision is the source. And then you couple that with doubt, that equals fear. Now, blending of this takes time, and it occurs by default. In other words, this is happening. Your subconscious is open. If you leave the TV on for hours or even an hour and you're washing dishes and there's something negative there, it's going right into your conscious mind. You've allowed it through your 5 senses. If you continue to do this over and over and over again, now you've built fear. You've built deeper neural pathways of there's stuff to be afraid of. So we got to focus our attention on what is the cause and what is the cure. And of course, that's what it's all about. The source is what we're thinking, and the cure is to think something different. So watch during this presentation of which fear or fears show up to you now, for you now and then. Maybe daily, maybe not so daily. Prepare your mind to outwit and dissolve these 3 enemies. And look, you've got to know your enemies best, right? Don't ignore them. Use them for lessons. You can do this. Let's see what you say here. Mary Kay says, I think the reason for the fears at the end is strategic structure, a wrap up and take away for the reader's practice that they've earned and learned. Yeah, very well put. That is exactly what this program is. It is a process based on biomimicry, based on empirical evidence. Confident decisions allow us to be tenacious and act versus freeze. Correct. And your confident decisions come if you've got a definite purpose, and you will not let anything interrupt the actual next step. That you've got that boundary, and this is great, Felipe, that you've got that boundary that says, gee, Felipe, I'd love to collaborate with you, but let me finish this quarter. Could we talk about it again after that? And most people are going to say, absolutely, yes. But we think when we say no, one of our fears says that we won't be liked, we won't look good, criticism, judgment, and we're getting into it. All right. Hi, 𝗧𝗛𝗂𝗪 is here. So glad you're here. Oh, 𝗧𝗛𝗂𝗪 is in Toronto, and he is the master of the overview of human resources in Canada, in my view. All right, so these are the lessons, okay? Okay, now, here are the 6 ghosts of fear. And I do love ChatGPT. I think I'm going to do the whole next quarter in like a magazine, like a comic book. I'm looking for ways to be creative. So these are the 6, and they're inner voices. So we think that we have one inner voice, but we actually have 7. We have the voice of God or the universe, which is in our conscious mind. This is the whisper. This is when we know not to do something, but the weight in the subconscious of these fears outweighs what we know to do. So we procrastinate. It's not strong enough. You can't have a positive and negative thought at the same time. It's what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and how frequently you think it that is going to have the most weight. Right now, our fears are the ones: judgment, criticism, and the voice says, can't you do anything right? How many times are you going to screw this up, Leslie? Poverty, you can recognize it. Look, you just can't afford it. No matter how much you want it, we've got to wait until the taxes are done, till your brother gets his new hockey skates or whatever it is. We've heard it over and over and over and over again, with just a fear of poverty. There's just not enough for me. There is no abundance. Not for me, other people. Ill health. What if you get sick? That's real. I mean, we all went through COVID. We lost people we loved. So that's real. Now, I realize that many of these fears start when you're a kid, and it is to protect, right, and keep you to survive. But at 40, 50, 60, if you're still thinking those things, you're limited. You're allowing yourself to be limited. Loss of love. What if he leaves me? Well, there'll be someone else coming along, right? And you don't want to carry that one into the future. As we were talking with Charles in the panel on transformation, you got to let go of the old love to make room for the new one. 2 years it's taken me. I love it. And then old age. Well, I'm too old to do that. I've proven that I'm not too old. And you aren't too old. It's what you think. And all the things that people would say you're too old for that, which they don't dare say that to me as a Sagittarius, because I won't hear it. But I've done things that I'm writing about to remind myself and let my children know some extraordinary things while living life large. And then, of course, what if I die? We've all had that. We think about it. We don't want to think about it. Okay? So I'm a bit of a Jeanne d'Arc here, leading you and getting to know these horrible, the horrible side of us. All right. So now here's a good example. You're the CEO of your life. So think of it as the CEO of a company. You're the manager of the grocery store. You're the teacher in the classroom. Well, no, that's probably not right. You're the principal, right, of the school. And at your boardroom table are these dudes. So when you get a new idea, that's me, the chair, okay? When you get a new idea, these are the 6 voices. One of them, depending on whether it's poverty or being criticized, how will I look if I do this? What if I screw up? That's judgment and criticism. Poverty, I know I can't afford it, but you know you can if you want it badly enough. You can manifest it. Read Genevieve Barron's book, Your Invisible Power. Very small book. Oh, and I forgot I was going to send that to someone. I'm glad I mentioned that. There's a way out. So right now, what we have is a business, a life, where any idea we get, we've got 6 backseat drivers. And they are telling you, right, and Lay calls them the committee. They can be the committee. They can be your board members. If you manage, it just depends, right? If you're running the library, they could be the staff. Well, no, that wouldn't work either. You would have to, well, anyway, I'm trying to find something else, but I think you got the point. So this is a problem. This is the source of our results. These 6 people or entities or spirits, they are strong and well practiced, and they'll stop you in a heartbeat. That's why only a few people out of millions have used, or the percentages are very small. Why isn't everybody a millionaire? Because in Think and Grow Rich, it's the exact process to become a millionaire if that's what you want to become. To be an author, that if that's what you want to become. If you want to be a New York Times best-selling author, like take Felipe. I don't even know if he thinks about that. But if that's what he really wanted, he could do it. But you have to outwit these dudes. So what do? You give them all the pink slip. How do we do it? Over time. We take one at a time. We identify one of them. We notice it, and we look for its opposite. That's all there is to do. So then once you've slowly replaced all these dudes with achieving goals that you failed at before to disprove the fear, or doing something that you have no clue how to do. That's one of the 12 laws of achievement. If you set it out from start to end, it's not sorry, my microphone. It's not a good goal. You cannot know how to do it because that requires faith. It requires courage. It requires curiosity. It requires character. That's why you look at one at a time. Once you've replaced them, look who's here. One at a time, right? Instead of criticism, you have support. Instead of poverty, you are working to aspire to default to these instead of fear. It takes time. It takes repetition. That's why we use auto-suggestion. So why don't more people achieve their dreams? Even if they've read this book, you got to study it. You've got to repeat it. Napoleon Hill, over 20 years, tracked the processes through multiple interviews of 500 of our country's most wealthy, happy, and healthy people. He interviewed many more. So now, instead of loss of love, you're back to love. Instead of death, you're at rebirth. Instead of ill health, you're focusing more on wellness, which we just had the virtual wellness experience a couple of weeks ago. Old age becomes wisdom. So this is where you want to go. Now I'm looking for, let me put this up here, your questions and comments. So this is good. Tell me I can't do something, right? I'm the same way. But look, are you doing it just because someone said you couldn't, or because you really are driven and you really do want to do it? Because if you only do it for the challenge, that's a fear. But if you do it because you already really want it, and then you use that energy to complete it, that works. Good morning, Dr. Marcia. So glad you're here. Let me see what other comments we have. Just one second here. I hear you, Felipe. And hire, yes, fire them all. But unfortunately, yes, and you can do this with visualization. I'm sorry. You can, but unfortunately, there's only one way I know to do that. And that is something that Brendan Bouchard did. When you are in a life-threatening accident or situation where you ought to or might have died, that's when all those fears wipe the slate clean, tabula rasa. Other than that, this is the process of transmutation of radiant energy. We are intentionally introducing a higher cellular vibration, which affects our wellness and how we feel. It affects our brain. It creates new myelin, which is what I understand is being shredded as you get older and older for many different reasons. So you would fire them all. Yeah. They're all right. You never actually reach this point. You get it that this is an aspiration. But it feels so much better when you can recognize which fear is bothering you. So in the audience with you guys, which one of these have you noticed before? I'm going to go back. I'm going to go over here really quick. Oh, where's the time? Oh, shit. Okay. So which one do you hear? Right? You can't do anything right. What will people think if I screw up? I'm just not going to say anything because I don't want to look foolish. That's because you've been criticized and judged. Okay? We all have had it. Or is it I can't afford it? And that could be really big and looming large right now. Pick one that you're familiar with. Ill health. I mean, God, we had people with masks walking on the street by themselves after COVID, right? Talk about the fear of ill health. But yet, was real. And it was tough. So it's big in our minds. Loss of love. Well, that takes time. I was married for 33 years. It took 15 years of just, moving 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 1 step back, right? I mean, it's a process. There is no quick pill for this, right? You can do different therapies and it is helpful. Absolutely. So is it a loss of love? Do you think you're too old, or do you think you might die if you do this thing? So now who's running your show? This is the new board. Okay. I hope you're enjoying this, and I'm looking for questions. Oh, let's see what, oh shit. Okay. Sorry. Whatever it is you wish to pursue, you have to have desire to achieve the mental outcome you envisioned. If you do it strictly out of fear, your body will tell you and you will know. And the outcome will be fearful. It will be what you don't want. Very good point, Stephen. So if you constantly think to yourself, hey, Gregory, if you constantly think to yourself, oh, please don't send me any more bills. Please, I hate the bills. I just don't want any more bills. Guess what's going to show up? Because the universe interprets your vibration. It matches how you're feeling and thinking most of the time. Right? So this is absolutely accurate, I would say. We could just add just a little bit to that. That's really insightful. Okay. Hey, Gregory, saw your show last night with Bill. It was fabulous. I just love everything you do. Yes. 1 and 2 interchangeably. Yeah. I mean, me too. Criticism, poverty, pretty much, right? There are times for the other things, but that's pretty much me too. And let's see what Coach Carrie says here. My epilogue that used to play was fear of death. Yes. Oh, she died at 39. Hold on a second. Let me put this up here. That was a process. Yes. And you did. And you once again developed faith, but it takes time. And in our world, we don't want things to take so long, do we? There's Ashif. Hi, Ashif. You're here from Toronto. Healing and growing comes from doing. Absolutely correct. Okay, let's go on. All right, because we're really getting close here. So you see what we're doing here. The cause is what you're thinking, what you're allowing in to your conscious mind without being aware. Turn off the TV if it's negative. It happens by default. Your subconscious is a big open mouth, and it'll take everything you want, everything you give it. All right, next week, we're going to recap the 14th week. We're going to prepare and do the first week of the next quarter. What are your ideas for your new goal? I'll bring in the 12 laws of achievement. Listen to this again or any one of these lessons. And now, very important to lock in everything you've learned. Are you ready for the meditation? Remember, we set ourselves up at the beginning to do this, to lock in what you've learned today at your present state of mind, because you're going to go out into the world. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. There are celebrations everywhere. It's spring. So you can watch this beautiful video, or you can close your eyes and listen. Okay, here we go. Take a slow breath in through your nose. And as you exhale through your mouth, long and low, imagine yourself walking through a quiet local park on a rainy afternoon. The air is cool, the sky soft and gray. You're wearing your raincoat, you've got your umbrella, and each raindrop seems to tap a rhythm around you. Even with the umbrella, you keep looking upward, curious, open, and aware. As you walk, your mind drifts to the 6 basic fears lesson, and how each one can be softened, even outwitted, by choosing a different, opposite thought. When the fear of criticism appears, you breathe in support. Feel the presence of people who uplift you, encourage you, and see your potential. When the fear of poverty whispers, you breathe in abundance. Notice how the world provides, how opportunities flow, and how resourcefulness grows within you. When the fear of illness arises, you breathe in wellness. Feel your body's strength, its intelligence, its constant work to restore balance. When the fear of losing a love surfaces, you breathe in love itself. Not the fragile kind, but the steady, unconditional love that lives within you and around you. When the fear of old age approaches, you breathe in wisdom. See the richness of experience, the clarity that only time can give. And when the fear of death appears, you bring in rebirth, a reminder that every ending is also a beginning. Every closing door, a threshold to something new. You've walked through each fear one by one, and now you can see clearly there is always another way to think, another lens you can choose. Now, as the rain lightens, your thoughts drift to home, to the warm glow of the kitchen, to the dinner your mother has been preparing. You can almost smell it now. Comforting, familiar, inviting. A smile spreads across your face. You pick up your pace, feel lighter, clearer, and very much alive, and you hurry home. And now, my friends, next week on Monday, please join Catherine Chadwick, guest teacher for Mind Over Matters Monday at 10:45 a.m. April 6th. And I hope you've all enjoyed this very much. Thank you again to our sponsor, to our visioneer. And now I will close out the room with the beautiful outro.
I woke up with a fire in my soul, a vision burning bright, a goal to control. The road ahead ain't always clear, but I'm stepping forward, no room for fear. Each stair I climb, a lesson learned. From every fall, a lesson earned. The mind is a weapon, sharp and true. I'm forging ahead, there's nothing I can't do. Think and grow rich, that's the plan. With every step, I take a stand. Climbing the staircase of my dreams, fueled by the power of my schemes. Mind-focused heart on the rise. Achievement is the price I prize. Step by step I'm reaching high, tuning my mindset to touch the sky. The journey's tough, but I won't quit. I've got the drive, I've got the grit. Each level up, a new horizon, a world of possibilities in motion. I'm sharpening my thoughts, aligning my will, turning obstacles into a hills I can climb still. The power of belief, it's on my side. With every breath I'm fortified, I'm not just dreaming.